What's the crack a day, boys? And here's something a little bit different on this channel today. This is a colony of black garden ants. Now, this colony I've been raising since their nuptial flight season last year, where I found this queen running along a path in Edinburgh. On my way home from the pub, she was on the ground, no wings on her back, and she was being attacked by about five other ants. And I was about maybe 100 yards away from my house, and I picked her up with all these ants crawling around her, and I managed to just brush off gently four of the ants and blew them back into their nest. And then I ran home with this queen in my hand, with the little worker one of the workers still clung to her leg. I got into the house and I'd got ant collecting stuff from the year before, trying to collect ants, and I managed to prise the other worker off her leg and managed to test tube this queen. And then a year later, she over that winter actually, she started laying eggs, but those eggs never developed. And then maybe a few months ago, the eggs started developing, and you can actually see in this picture here, you have each stage of development of the ant eggs. It's bar one. You have the eggs as the tiny little cluster of balls up in the top right. You also then have their larvae, different sizes of larvae, their pupae, and then once they come out their pupae, they've turned into essentially tiny wee small white workers, which I've got a picture of here. Now this is an exciting time for these ants. Now that they've reached this stage, her first nenitic, her first worker, has eclosed and is walking about, as you can see. And the next stage of these ants' lives is to get their first meal. So today I'll be showing you the first footage of them getting their first meal. Now obviously I put a wee bit of honey in over the winter for the queen, just in case she needed a little bit of nourishment. But today will be their first proper meal, and I'll actually be adding a nest formicarium, small glass nest formicarium onto their chest tube as well. So I took these guys out of their test tube setup, and I hooked their test tube up to the new formicarium that I'll be placing them in. Up at the top there you can see their original test tube, which I caught the queen in, and this is the eventual place where I'm wanting them to start their small colony. I've also placed their first meal right there, a wee bit of cheese and a wee bit of maple syrup. And here's the worker making her first trip to go and find food for the colony. This opaque tube, unfortunately, which makes everything look really blurry. But we can see the worker drinking away, and you can actually see the gaster, which is the back part of the ant, expand out as she's drinking what looks to be like she's drinking just the syrup at the moment. And once she finishes, she runs right back to the colony, cleans herself off, wipes her antennae out. And then her main goal here is to go to the queen, and via Truffle Access, which is the way the ants pass on food to each other. So they almost go mouth to mouth. It looks like they're almost kissing. The ant uses its social stomach just here. As you can see, the mouthpieces going together just now. She is using her social stomach to push out food into the queen's mouth. And this is essentially how the queens get food deep down in the nests underneath the ground. All the workers bring food, pass it along through the chain of workers until it gets to the queen, and then they feed her. So I went away and I came back about an hour or so later, expecting to see the worker to be going back and forward towards the food and the queen. But instead I saw the queen out on the prowl herself, cutting out the middleman, bunching away. Thought it was quite funny. So yeah, this was an exciting time for these black garden ants. Their first proper feed. The first workers are closed. They've got 5 pupae on the way, so over the next few weeks there'll be a lot more ants hatching out, a lot more mouths to feed, and it'll just keep scaling up more and more and more. So it's an exciting time for these guys. But it's also an exciting time for me because not only have I had these guys start making their own workers, that's also nuptial flight season here for one of the ants that I've been absolutely dreaming of. So I've been out and about and I've been trying to see if I can catch any queens that I can raise up in my own setup, and hopefully I think I've already got one, but that'll come in another video. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll be releasing a few more updates on these ants as they go through their lives, and hopefully have more ant colonies to come. Thank you. Catch.